Chewing gum. I should spit that out.
That's a good start to the podcast right there. Hello, everybody. Welcome to James and the... Take two. Hello, everybody. Welcome to James and Jordan Talk to the Internet, Season 2, Episode
2.
There you go. The last time Jordan's ever going to get that right. This is the second week in a row. So far, we're holding true to our weekly schedule.
All right.
Very excited.
What is
by
all
it.
this shit? Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. That ties into everything I want to talk about today. We've got some news that I want to discuss. Got my laptop back. It's back. We're doing, stuff and things. I really want to talk about the first thing I want to talk about is there's a Starship presentation next Thursday I'm very excited about. That's the new big SpaceX rocket.
Okay.
And we're going to learn all the cool new stuff that they've been working on. It's very exciting. I wanted to mention that off the top because it's happening before the next episode, so everything else can carry over to the next time we record. But that, I just want to mention, get that out of the way. It's very exciting. Next Thursday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Or as we call it on the East Coast, real time.
And that'll just be on the Science Channel.
No, it'll be on YouTube.
The Space Channel.
It'll be on YouTube.com.
It's not going to be on the Space Channel.
My cat's taking a dump or a piss or something right now. What are you doing? Being. Good for him.
It's got a healthy prostate.
We can talk about Batgirl a little bit, which is why we have new set dressings a little bit here. I also put Spider-Man up. So if you want to see that, look on YouTube and find us. Link in the description.
Oh my god, this is dragging. This is bad.
It's dragging.
Yeah, speed up.
So there was some Batgirl news. No, the new Batgirl movie is coming out either late this year or early next year sometime. The year being 2022. And that was cool. We've got some behind the scenes photos of Jakey Simmons as Commissioner Gordon. He was Commissioner Gordon in both of the Justice League movies. So that's...
Who's directing this?
I don't know.
Zack Snyder?
It's not Zack Snyder.
Should be.
Should not be. It's starring Leslie Grace. I don't really know.
Never heard of her.
I don't know who that is. I can very quickly. Leslie Grace. Check her out. She's an American singer-songwriter. That's interesting. 27 years old. People asking what her ethnicity is, so that's a good sign. Look at her IMDb. Because she can't be a woman and also be non-white. That just is too far.
Is that what they're concerned about?
The liberal agenda is being pushed. Man, if she's not straight, all bets are off.
Well, Batgirl is a lesbian, right?
No.
Just bisexual?
Not. I don't think so. Not in any version that I've ever...
She's into, like, weird leather stuff, though.
Well, who's not?
Because in the
Batman,
in the Schumacher one.
In the Batman universe. Yeah, but she was straight as fuck in that one. She was, like, banging Robin or whatever. Which is usually what's going on.
Is Robin going to be in this one?
It's a good question.
Or Batman?
Michael Keaton's going to be in it.
As Batman?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Oh, sweet.
He's going to be in the new Flash movie, and then they think that Batgirl's going to show up in the new Flash movie, and then that's
So this is, like, in the future, then?
No. It's sort of like a multiverse situation they're doing. They're doing a Flashpoint, which I don't know if you know what that is.
A Flashpoint?
It's the comic where Flash ran back in time.
Oh, no, I don't know what that is.
Saved his mother from being shot, but because he was sad that his mom got shot when he was a kid.
Why would that make him sad?
Stupid dumb human.
Were there how many
emotions.
pearls
There were no pearls.
There were no
He came
pearls.
home and she was just like murdered.
with pearls?
No, there were
All
no.
of them.
They were poor-ish, so there were no pearls.
So she had those like Dollar Tree
She had a knife in her
no.
neck, I think, maybe.
in her neck.
Yeah, she was like brutally stabbed.
Shit.
Yeah, it was like a home invasion gone wrong sort of thing, I think.
Yeah, you think? That certainly didn't. It wasn't a home invasion gone right.
So that
You had
was
a neck,
yeah, maybe
knife
by
shoved through your neck.
depending on if you want to be a murderer
Unless
or
you're
not,
a serial killer too.
then it went really right. For the murderer, not the
Right.
woman who died. And
Well, I'm
that's
rooting for the killer.
sort of what inspired him to become a
Serial killer?
forensics detective guy or whatever he
Yeah,
does.
He turned into Dexter.
Kind of Barry Allen. So then that changes. Like there's like a time he breaks they explain it in the animated movie where you break the sound barrier, you get a sound wave, sonic boom. He breaks the time barrier, so there's a time boom. So
Wait, hold on. You just said he ran back in time.
yeah, he ran so fast he went back in time through the speed force.
Okay, so that's not anything that could ever happen.
Running so fast you go back in time.
Yes.
I don't know.
So they made that up.
Probably.
Can you tell me the rest of it's fake too?
Yeah. He also runs faster than the speed of light, but that's fine. So the Flash kind of breaks physics a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like the friction, like he would be torn apart.
No, he wears a space shuttle suit or whatever they explain in the
Yeah, well, there's not
Justice
enough
League
of
movie.
that like ass cream people put on. The chape cream. What's that stuff called?
I don't know.
It's this cream powder shit you put in your ass so you don't get chafed. You must have that like pouring constantly on like a loop or something.
Well, it's like an IV bag.
Yeah, it's sort of
He's
like
got that,
and
but
it's
it's
just
like
coming in with the
in his butthole,
Right,
sticking
yeah.
out.
Yeah, he's got a. I mean, can you imagine?
No, I can't. I've never run that
Just-
fast in my life.
Yeah.
You're gonna Mr. Miyagi it. Fix Daniel LaRusso's fucking broken leg with some hot hands. Karate Kid's a good movie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'm sitting here shitting on it, but it's an enjoyable film.
It's a classic.
Basically, it's hard to explain Flashpoint because it was the book where, like, after 15 years of writing hundreds of characters for DC, they were like, we're gonna reset everything and start from scratch. They do it they did it like every 20 years, and then they did it like every 15 years. Now we're down to like every 5 years they do it
You know why?
because they don't give a shit.
Because they can't make any good movies.
Well, this is comics. Like
Oh,
the
the
big
comics?
one was
Oh.
the death of Superman.
Oh, okay.
It was the Crisis on Infinite Earths. That was the first really big one. But they do like a reset, and usually the Flash is involved. So this was what reset the canon, and everything went back to zero, and it was like Batman comic number 1, Superman comic number 1. Yeah. So it's weird that the first solo Flash movie they're making is the end of the universe. It kind of makes sense because it's the only Flash comic anybody ever knows.
Except for me.
Who the fuck cares about the Flash? So they're gonna do like the universe is different after he goes back in time because he changes things. And there's like a time bubble ripple thing that fucks everything up, like Superman.
So just like when Deadpool goes back and shoots all those people.
Not really, because this affects things that happen before it too. Like Superman crashes into Metropolis and not in Kansas, so the government finds him immediately and they like hide him away and all this shit, and Bruce Wayne gets murdered instead of his parents.
Like when he was a kid.
Right. And his mom turns into the Joker because she breaks, and his dad turns into Batman.
The fuck?
But he uses like guns and murders people and shit.
I'd like to see that. That sounds kind of cool.
You should watch Flashpoint. It's pretty good.
So was Bruce Wayne wearing the pearls?
No, he was not. He was wearing a little suit though.
And with pearls on it?
No, there were no pearls.
It's disappointing.
His mom is like holding his dead body, and she has blood all over her hands. and then she like puts it on. She goes to cover her mouth, and then as she wipes it away, she's laughing hysterically because she's mentally broken, and the blood makes like a smiley face.
Oh,
yeah,
sweet.
And then Thomas Wayne like shoots a bunch of people or whatever. Anyway, it's theorized because Ben Affleck is also in this movie, the Flashpoint movie.
So he's gonna be Batman again.
So yeah, this is his last thing. And people, it's just like nobody really knows what's going on.
That's how I felt about. Was it Justice League? What was the one that came out with all the there were like bugs in it?
Justice League had parademons, like the flying things.
Those things. Yeah, I didn't know what was going on at all in that during that movie.
Yeah, the first version was just broken and terrible, and then the Zack Snyder cut was still bad, but not confusing.
So they made a movie that was like so long, but had to be that like they just chopped up stuff you would have to have seen.
Didn't have to be. He was just like, fuck it, who cares? So that's cool, I guess. And then Batgirl is going to be HBO Max exclusive, I think. I don't even know if it's going to theaters. But it looks like...
I haven't seen any advertisements for it.
It just started filming not too long ago.
Is it a show or a movie?
Movie. I can show you the on-set photos of her costume here. It looks like that. I'll put these up on the Instagram.
Are you serious?
Did that change the picture?
That's the costume?
Is it at the next picture yet?
Is this a joke?
No.
That looks like shit.
It looks
like a Halloween costume.
Well, it looks
bought
a lot like the Cameron Stewart run of Batgirl.
That would look cooler than what she's in.
From a little bit ago. This is the Gail Simone book. She wrote it. She didn't draw it. I don't know who drew it. I could open the book, but Ryan is kind of
yeah, he's kind of leaning
kicking
on
it up.
Yeah,
by it, so I don't really want to move
his
it.
Goat.
This is the I don't read a lot of Batgirl stuff. I tried reading some of this. I didn't really like it. If you love it, that's great. This is the best Batgirl ever. Like, it's sort of the version of Batgirl, right? So I feel like if they start out like this version, the Cameron Stewart one, and slowly move on to this, will be good. I really like this. Omnibus. It's just the complete collection.
Oh, okay. Omnibus.
Yep.
I don't think I've ever heard that word before. Just means complete collection.
I guess you can get because it's not like Watchmen where they released 12 issues and each one was, however long. This is like a weekly or a monthly thing over the course of 10 years.
I thought Watchmen was just all released all at once.
No, it was one a month. It was one a month.
Oh. I wonder if anybody has those. Well, I mean, I guess they would, right? Can you still buy the individual ones?
I'm sure you can.
They're worth
I don't know why you're trying to buy them. You have my copy.
I do. And I've had it for 2 years now.
Pretty close. You should read it. When did Watchmen, the TV show, come out? Because that's when you started. That's when I suggested you read it. And I stand by that. You should read it.
I'm trying to... Okay, so...
2019?
It was pre-pandemic, so yeah, we're going on like 3 years of me having your book.
Yeah. I haven't had any desire to go back and reread it.
Yeah.
Lately, but I would like it back at some point.
I think I'll just find the
you can watch the animated one.
I'll just watch the animated, yeah.
Where it's just the motion comic.
What was that on?
HBO probably.
Or was that one of the features on the Blu-ray I bought for
it might
HBO's Watchmen?
There's a cut of it where they took...
We were watching it, but I don't remember what we watched.
We were watching it probably on DC Universe at the time, which was DC's streaming thing, where they had all the animated shows and all of the live action stuff. But then they were like, we're not making enough money on this, so we're just going to move all the video stuff to HBO Max, and then we're going to keep all the comics. And then they were begging people to stay. Which I'm not going to pay like $80 a year for something that I'm not going to use.
They were begging people?
They were offering like we'll give you a $25 store gift card if you stay. Yeah, if you renew your subscription, we'll give you money.
There's enough streaming platforms.
Yeah.
Like, you don't need any more.
I mean, if you just wait 5 years, Disney will buy everything, and then you can just get
probably.
Disney.
They got Star Wars. Do they own Indiana Jones as well?
Yeah.
Disney does?
Yeah.
So what have they collected? Do they own Lord of the Rings?
No, that's Amazon. That's actually, I have that here. Fuck off. I don't want to subscribe to anything.
So who owns Netflix? Is that just its own thing?
I think that's just its own thing.
Yeah. There's a good documentary called The Last Red Box, or The Last Blockbuster. You've seen that?
It's in like Indiana or something.
Yeah, there's like one left. But they talk about how Netflix wanted to partner with them.
Yeah.
And they were just like, no.
Blockbuster had an awesome idea where they were going to take like a city block in New York or Los Angeles or some big city, and they were going to build an amusement park in the city block, like a giant arcade, like a Dave & Buster's sort of deal. And it was going to have rides, and it was going to be awesome. And then after like 9 p.m., all the kids were going to get kicked out, and it was just going to be like they were going to sell liquor, and it was going to just be for adults.
What does this have to do with movies?
I don't know. That was
movies?
A proposal that they had.
That would have been cool.
That would have been fucking awesome.
Was this before Dave & Buster's?
It was probably when Blockbuster had money still, so
it was
mid-90s?
Maybe it was like the same thing as Netflix, where they came to Blockbuster and Blockbuster said no. Maybe it was like Dave & Buster's went to Blockbuster.
We'll strike out on
and they
our
were
own.
like, no.
And Blockbuster went, ha, good luck with that.
We're Blockbuster. We're always gonna be here.
There's a great
people are always gonna want their tapes.
There's a great Rooster Teeth sketch where it was like it was titled like Early Days or something. It was made like in 2013 or something, but it was set in like 2003, and they were talking about like stocks and stuff, and they're like, man, I was thinking about investing in Netflix, and one of them goes, that's a stupid idea. Why would you? No, they didn't even mention. They were like, I was thinking of investing in Blockbuster. Like, that's a good idea. You should definitely do that. Because, I mean, Blockbuster's, what? People just aren't going to want to rent movies anymore? There's one on every street corner. What's closer than on every street corner? Your mailbox?
Well, it's like in Always Sunny, too. The McCoyles by the video store. We wanted to invest in an emerging market. Video stores are a dying market. Oh, that is a fantastic show.
Anyway, back to Lord of the Rings.
Lord of the Rings. We weren't talking about Lord of the Rings.
We were, because you asked who owned Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
In 2017, Amazon Original splashed into the news when it purchased the global rights to a television adaptation of The Lord of the Rings for a cool $250 million.
That's nothing.
Yeah, that doesn't seem like a lot when whoever bought whatever. I think Microsoft bought like Activision for $70 billion. Yeah, I mean, I'm
70 million. I wonder who has like the most like who's bought something from somebody else for like the most like amount of money. It must be like Michael Jackson, because he had all the rights to the Beatles songs.
Yeah, he
plus
did.
all of his songs.
Yeah.
And then when he died, I think that went to his dad probably.
That was a funny Paul McCartney story where he was talking about how he told Michael Jackson, he's like, you should really get the rights to your own music, because, you know, you really want the rights to your own music. Yeah, and he was like, and then
I'm going to get yours too.
Michael Jackson was like, I'm going to buy yours too.
Yeah.
And Paul McCartney was like, good joke. And then like 3 months later, he's like, I'm going to buy yours. And Paul McCartney was like, okay, it's weird that you keep bringing this up, but good joke, I guess. It's not really that funny anymore. You keep saying it. And then he did.
Yeah.
But we're not going to talk about the Beatles, because we spent the last like 3 podcasts talking about the Beatles. Are you excited for the Lord of the Rings TV show?
No. I didn't even know it was coming out.
It's called Lord of the Rings: The Rings of Power. It's like a prequel. It's
the Rings of Power.
Yeah, it's about all of the different rings that go, you know, the 9 rings to mortal men or whatever.
That just sounds like an 80s
We've got a wild Beano spotting.
That just sounds like an 80s hair metal band.
He didn't want to be on. He's camera shy.
Lord of the Rings.
Rings of Power.
The Rings of Power tour.
Here's the thing.
Yeah. That's how they sing.
It's just the
10 episodes. They're all an hour long.
Dude, it has like a budget of $1 billion or something.
$1 billion?
Yeah, for 2 seasons, I think.
There's no way they have $1 billion.
Dude, it's Amazon.
Didn't Avatar just make $1 billion?
It made like 2.7 or 2.8 billion.
No.
Overall.
So they've got like 1/3 of Avatar's
earnings. Listen. The series, hey, September 2nd. We'll know on September 2nd.
They filming in New Zealand again?
They were, but then they moved it somewhere else.
Iceland?
And people got really mad.
Why?
Because apparently hills only exist in New Zealand.
There's plenty of other places, I'm sure, that look like New Zealand.
And probably don't cost as much to film in.
Well, like, do they not realize, like, people will film in other countries because it's cheaper? Like, they were filming Prometheus in Iceland because it was cheap to go over there at the time. It's not like they're, like, choosing the perfect location.
Here we go. What does it mean that the series will be filmed in New Zealand? Blah, 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 blah. We need to find somewhere majestic. Blah, 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 blah. With the production costs rumored at a mind-boggling $1 billion, making this the most expensive television show in history. Amazon is sparing no expense.
I hope it's, like, horrendously bad.
Expense.
Like, I hope their new shooting location's just Florida. And in some clips, you can just see, like, buildings in the back.
There's some crazy guy on meth riding an alligator in the background. Listen, I wasn't excited about it, but then you look at Amazon's roster of original shows, The Boys, Invincible, Jack Ryan. Like, they've got some solid shit.
Yeah, no, it's probably going to be good.
So if they handle it right, then.
But if they handle it wrong,
then it's going to be like shit.
I hope it's filmed in Florida.
Indiana Jones 5. How do you feel about it?
I haven't seen anything about it.
Probably
not going to be as good as Crystal Skull.
It would be very difficult for it to be worse than Crystal Skull.
Indiana Jones is kind of a weird guy. I
yeah.
mean, like, not once.
Also not a very good archaeologist.
No, but, like, he doesn't need to be as long as he's, like, shooting things and...
Usually probably drunk.
He doesn't drink.
What are you talking about?
When's he ever have a drink in that show?
In the bar?
Like one drink?
He drinks all the time. So he gets fucking drugged in Temple of Doom.
Yeah.
Because he's an alcoholic.
No, he drank that guy's blood.
No.
He drank that guy's infected blood.
No, at the beginning. In the Club Obi-Wan?
No, he was just having a little glass of champagne.
No, he's an alcoholic, and they just gave him water, and his body, like, started freaking. It was like when the gang goes on, gets locked in the bathroom.
The antidote.
The antidote was just like 100% liquor.
Well, maybe it was like the poison he just drank was actually the alcohol.
Oh, he's just been totally. He's been drinking just water the entire time. The antidote is just
like that stuff that gets rid of your like your response to like opioids.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Is this drug?
Narcan?
No. Well, no. That I don't know.
Is that the thing that they give you that when you overdose?
There's a pill you can take that just makes it so like if you do drink, it you don't get the same sensation.
Why would I want that?
It's for people who don't stop drinking.
Oh. Just stop. Override that chemical caveman desire to drink. Do you think if you went back in time and introduced liquor to cavemen, how different the world would be?
They probably already had it. Well, no, it would be beer. Beer would be like the first thing, I think.
Indiana Jones is set to be the first installment of the franchise without the involvement of George Lucas nor direction by Steven Spielberg. How do you feel about that?
Is that a good thing or
they say that Indiana Jones, the title of this Screen Rant article is Indiana Jones 5, losing Spielberg and Lucas could be good for the franchise. If they could just stop letting George Lucas make
well, that's the thing. I
decisions.
think if George Lucas was gone, that would probably be okay. But
he
with
wasn't
Spielberg,
there.
I don't know.
He wasn't involved in Crystal Skull.
Yes, he was.
No, he wasn't.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't.
He called up Steven Spielberg and was like, "Yeah, thinking about doing another one of these Indiana Jones movies." And he was like, "I was thinking we could have aliens in it."
No, they
And then
kicked him out,
Spielberg
didn't
was-
they?
This is the conversation that happened. He might have not actually like worked so much on the movie, but it was his idea. He was like, "Yeah, we're gonna have the aliens in it," and Spielberg was like, "Yeah, I didn't want the aliens in." Or how does he talk? I don't know. He was like, "Yeah, Is that- yeah." So Steven Spielberg was like, "Yeah, we don't want the aliens in it either because I had already worked on what's that? What's the movie where the alien
Close Encounters.
No, not Close. No, that's an old one.
What do you want from me?
War of the Worlds. He just got done making War of the Worlds, and George Lucas called him up. It's
I haven't
like
seen it.
Indiana Jones movie with aliens in it, and Spielberg was like, "Nah, I don't really want to do that." And then the script got written. Seriously, it's probably in the special features right there.
I'm not gonna ever open that.
Because I watched the special features for Crystal Skull when I got that DVD.
How do you feel about the look?
Wait, what time period is this supposed to be in?
Like the 50s, 60s?
And are they acknowledging that Crystal Skull happened,
It is unclear.
but the other movies all happened?
Presumably. It'd kind of be hard for them to make a movie.
I feel like, well, Indiana Jones is like, how does he even like, how do people not think he's crazy?
I think most people do.
He's seen, like, how do you have a conversation? Like if I was talking
Probably
to
doesn't bring
somebody,
it up.
yeah, if I was talking to somebody and they were just like, yeah, the Ark of the Covenant, like, bunch of stuff shot out of it, people's faces melted off.
I think he probably focuses on the time he got the diary signed by Hitler. Pretty.
I was about to say
cool.
it's probably worth some money, but then I was like,
Probably is.
probably is, but like, I don't want to know who's buying that.
It's like when Charlie and Mac find the Nazi shit.
Yeah, I think it's illegal to sell Nazi stuff.
Probably.
I don't know if it is in America. I think you can. I think some stuff
like,
you can
sell
you
it
can
to
own it, but
to
you
a
can't like
museum,
sell it
I think.
where it belongs.
Yeah.
They
Out
have-
of the hands of the native people who have idolized this for centuries.
think I wouldn't idolize
put it in
but
a
like I mean, if I just
Fucking
found like
glass box for a
if I
bunch
just
of white
found like
people to
a
get.
like I don't know, if I moved somewhere and I was like going through the attic or whatever and there's some other people's stuff in there and it was just a bunch of Nazi shit, like I would keep it.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be like, I mean, I would think it was cool, but not in like a
You would appreciate the historical
yeah, it would be
significance of
I'd
it.
be like, holy shit, this is like an authentic Nazi uniform I just found.
Right. You wouldn't be like
I wouldn't burn it like they do in Sunny.
you wouldn't be like Robert Patrick in Peacemaker.
What is he doing? I
I
haven't seen Peacemaker.
You should watch Peacemaker.
Like
Robert
I wouldn't,
Patrick's
like
in it.
I wouldn't wear it or anything. I
Dude,
would just be like, whoa.
Peacemaker is so funny. I didn't think
never
I
heard
was
of
gonna
it.
like it. It's you haven't seen the new Suicide Squad movie.
Which one?
The Suicide Squad.
Like the one with
That's the name of it. It's The Suicide Squad.
Are there two of them?
Yes, there's
Oh, no.
Suicide Squad,
Which I didn't like.
which had Joker in it, and then there's The
Oh,
Suicide
God.
Squad, which
Jared
is
Leto.
a loose sequel reboot.
That movie sucked.
Yeah, it did.
They didn't.
Um,
They should have just left it at that.
But this was directed by James Gunn, who did Guardians of the Galaxy,
Yeah.
and it's a hard R, and there's a lot of people blowing the fuck up, and they fight a giant starfish at the end.
Is it good?
It's okay. It's funny. It's got some good moments in it.
Anyway,
But this is a show about Peacemaker, who's John Cena's character, and his slogan is like, "I will do anything for peace. I don't care however many men, women, and children I have to murder. I will get peace." And he's just like a crazy. He's not like. How do I describe him? I don't know how to describe him. You just have to watch the show. But his dad is Robert Patrick in the show. Terminator. 2, famous. First episode of Stargate Atlantis, slightly less famous for that. But he, like, John Cena is, like, borderline racist most of the time.
John Cena?
Yeah. His character in the show. I'm sure John Cena in real life is a very nice man.
Oh, he's not. He's super racist.
But
he's the one who gave me the box with the Nazi stuff in it. So
Robert Patrick is just a racist. Like, he fucking, like, the tech guy or whatever changes the stuff in the database so that Peacemaker, who murdered this alien, whatever happened in the show, the police are investigating, and they're like, oh, the prints and the witnesses are saying that it was Peacemaker's dad. So Robert Patrick gets thrown into jail, and he's just, like, walks over to a guy sitting on the bench, and he's like, hey, it's my spot. And it's like a young black guy. And the black guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's your spot. He's like when the sun comes in the window and hits there at this time of night. And then they're just sort of standing there, and then a bunch of other guys sort of get in formation behind Robert Patrick, and the black guy's just like, I'm not dealing with this, and he walks away. And then Robert Patrick sits down, and he's sort of doing this, like, I'm the king sort of look. And then all of the white guys get on their knees and start hailing him.
Okay.
And then all the black dudes in the prison are like, what the fuck is going on? It's really funny. It's just so over the top and ridiculous and bloody. And
is this a show or a movie?
It's a show on HBO Max, that thing you don't have. But if you ever won the lottery big time and decide to splurge, you know, you should definitely look into it.
I got enough. I got Hulu.
Do you want to talk about Tom Holland a little bit? Of Spider-Man fame?
Of Spider-Man, or the new one that he's in?
This is just, it has to deal with his contract going forward. Because his original one was like three solo movies, and then however many.
Yeah, now he's doing like 8.
Well, he clarified, talking to some jabroni probably, that he said, I don't think it's as black and white as I have a 3-picture deal with Marvel and a 3-picture deal with Sony. It's just this open conversation and open dialogue between Mr. Iger and Mr. Rothman. I assume those are the heads of both of those companies. So it's more like each one can do whatever they want. Like, Marvel can do whatever they want with Spider-Man as long as Sony says it's okay. Basically, going forward. So hopefully Sony will say it's okay to make good movies. Boom, got them.
I mean, they're making money, so.
Yeah, they are. That I can't even imagine how much more money Spider-Man would have made if it wasn't in a pandemic.
If it wasn't?
Yeah.
I think a lot of people went to go see it.
It's making normal pre-pandemic movie money now. Imagine what it would be making if we weren't in a pandemic.
Probably the same.
Probably a lot more.
I don't think people are afraid to go see movies anymore.
I think some people are.
Why? I don't give a shit at this point.
Yeah, I'm kind of over it. I'm boosted.
You know how many like COVID people have been all up in my space and nothing happened to me?
All up in your shiz.
All up in my face. All up in my grill. Yeah, a lot. Nothing happened. Not sick. Not even when I wasn't vaccinated. Never got sick. Been around a lot.
Are you saying that you don't believe in the vaccine?
I don't believe that it's real.
Is that what
the virus? I don't believe it's real.
It's a ploy by the liberals to take away your guns.
That's right. I don't know how they're connected.
We'll make some.
But I'm sure they are.
We'll draw some lines. Did you see that thing during the 2020 election where people were claiming that, was it South Korea was smuggling in fake ballots through Maine?
Not South Korea is the good Korea.
Yeah.
North Korea is the bad Korea.
Correct.
So it would be North Korea.
Well, no, South Korea was doing it for Biden.
I heard something similar to that. Yeah, and then I thought it sounded really dumb. So
yeah,
then I
people are so fucking stupid they don't know where South Korea is compared to the U.S.
wait, what do you mean smuggling in? What do you? Well, no, it would be
They were shipping them in, and they were using Maine as like the entrance. Like, they went down through the Panama Canal.
Well, all right, so they're like filling them out in South Korea, then shipping them over to Maine.
I don't know. I don't know.
Because I mean, I think the issue people were having is if you're overseas and you're a U.S. citizen, you can still vote.
Right.
So they were probably seeing those people.
I think that people are just fucking stupid.
Well, yeah, for sure.
Democracy.
That was like the highest turnout out of any election.
Yeah. Hopefully that continues.
And people were like, is that?
It was still only like in the 50% range.
Yeah, it wasn't obvious. It's not gonna be like. I mean, if you're like a convicted like felon, you can't vote anymore. And then there's people who are not 18.
It's just I think there's like 50% of registered voters.
I like the one where they're trying to pass a law where you weren't allowed to hand out treats or water to people waiting in line. It's just to make it more the most miserable experience ever is to go vote, and you're just trying to pass laws like that.
So it's crazy. Like you watch movies like Men in Black, and you're sitting there and you're like, why don't you just tell? Yeah, why don't you just tell everybody about aliens, Tommy Lee Jones? It's literally Will Smith. It's like. People are smart; they can handle it. And Tommy Lee Jones, I think it's actually the Carl Sagan quote. And Tommy Lee Jones is like, "A person is smart.
People are panicky, dangerous animals, and you know it."
And you're sitting there watching a movie, like that's not true. And then you watch like Stargate, and you're like, "Why are they keeping everything a secret?" And then you realize it's because people are fucking stupid, and they absolutely couldn't handle the shit.
What do you think would happen if aliens came down? Like, how would we react?
I think there would be a lot of, like, Jonestown suit. Like, I'm serious.
I'd be fine with that, though.
I think that there would be a lot of people in cults killing themselves.
Yeah, no, I can see that. I'm thinking more like, how would the world respond to that? Like, so the ship comes down. They're not hostile. They're, like, here...
I think that we would immediately try to blow them up.
Just immediately?
Mm-hmm. I think that would be an Arrival situation. Have you seen Arrival? You've seen Arrival.
With the squids?
Yeah. I think that it would be, the military would be trying their damnedest to blow them the fuck up.
I think...
And it would take an amazing stroke of luck for, like, an intelligent person to get in there and be like, we need to stop doing that.
All right, so maybe it's not so sudden and random. Let's just,
we get a message.
Yeah, we've made contact.
It's contact.
And we've figured out, right, except it's not like her dad's not the alien.
So I saw somebody talking about that movie. They're like, watch the whole fucking movie and their dumb dead dad is at the end.
That's from South Park. Mr. Garrison's like, waited through that whole goddamn movie. He's like, sat through that whole damn movie. Waiting to see the alien. Turned out it was her goddamn father. But yeah, no, it wouldn't be like that. So we get a message, right?
We get a message.
I don't know what country this would be going to. Do you think this
probably
would be like
everybody? Well, it would have to be in math. It would have to be very similar to Contact because it would, the
whole world would know.
Yeah.
So do you think you'd have like they figured out like the language?
Mm-hmm.
We're fairly certain we can communicate, and then they decide to come here. You think you'd have like all the world leaders out? Like, who do you think
I think that it would be a race.
Who do you think would be the first person to?
I think it would be a race between the United States, Russia, and China to figure out the language first, and then try and send a message and be like, "We're the cool ones."
Because they want the technology.
Yeah, come hang out with us. Come hang out with us. Those are the come hang out with us. I think that is exactly what would happen.
Do you think that it's possible if we received like a message from another civilization? How old do you think that would be by the time we received it?
Depends on where it's coming from. I mean, they talk about it.
Yeah, but any like Earth-like planets are like so far away.
Well,
that like
maybe they're just passing through.
like in a ship.
Like I keep talking about Contact because that's just the best example of what would happen, because it's just like the most realistic example.
It is a good movie.
It's a really good book too. The book is even more mind blowing than the movie.
Well, they got to dumb
Which
it down
usually
for an
happens.
audience.
Like at the end of the book, they're talking about her dumb dead dad shows up. She actually goes with a group of people in the book. There's like 6 of them from all different nationalities and stuff. And she's talking to her dumb dead dad, and he's like, okay, I'll give you, she's like, how many questions do I get to ask you before I have to go? And he's like, I'll give you like 3 questions or whatever. So she's asking her questions, and I forget how she poses the question. I think it's like, how did you find because it's
How'd you find us?
How did you find like the tunnel? Like, how did you build this network of tunnels? Which they talk about in the movie. And then he says, we didn't. It was just here. And we found it. So we've just been sort of using it for billions of years. And we don't know who built it or where they are or where they went. And she's like, well, how do you know? Like, how? And he's like, okay. And he has to dumb it down for stupid human brains.
Right.
Imagine if you're searching through pi, all the digits of pi. And
that's how dumb I am. I just immediately pictured like a fruit pie. And I was like, where are you going with this?
Imagine searching through all the digits of pi.
Okay.
And you hit a spot where it's a series of 1s and 0s that aren't random.
Like binary code.
And if you convert that... Oh, we're getting a call from Jordan's mom here. Live on the podcast.
Continue.
Jordan's texting his mom right now. Tell her we're fucking busy.
Just keep talking.
Do you know who I am? I have a podcast. So if you search long enough in pi, you find a series of 1s and 0s, and if you convert that to your base measurement, base 10 for humans, and you print that out, it shows a circle. Like, that's the equivalent. And she's like, that would suggest that there was something that created the universe. Like, because the whole thing is like God versus science or whatever.
Right.
And she's like, that would almost definitively prove that there was like an architecture to the universe. And he's like, okay, you gotta go back to Earth now. And then she fucks off back to Earth, and she's searching through pi. That's the new thing that they're doing. And the same thing happens, like nobody believes them, whatever. Government pays them off to not talk about it to anybody. And then the very last like thing in the book is they find the 1s and 0s, and when they convert it to like base 11, it's a circle. And that's the end of the book. It's awesome. Carl Sagan. Cool guy. It's not as good as the end of the end of Rendezvous with Rama, which I might have talked about before. Where like there's a thing coming into the solar system, and this is like 2160 something or whatever, and everybody's like, this is cool, and then they notice that it's spinning. They're like, oh, we'll send one of our, it's sort of like Alien, we'll send one of our like mining spaceships up there, check it out. So then they show up, and it's this perfect cylinder, and it's spinning really quickly, and they land on the end of it, and they like get inside, and they're walking around, and they're like, everything's trilaterally symmetrical. And then things start like waking up, and they find all these tripod monster things walking around. They're like robot, but also bio. They're weird, and and there's this whole thing where Mercury tries to blow them up.
What are we talking about?
Rendezvous with Rama.
Okay, because I'm really distracted.
And they get to they're like the whole thing throughout the book is everything's trilaterally symmetrical, and then all the scientists on Earth are fucking around. They're like, okay, it's coming in to the sun, and it's gonna do like a braking thing, and it's gonna slow down. And it's gonna go into orbit around the sun. But the end of the book, it doesn't. It speeds up and it slingshots itself around the sun and goes off into space. And the very last fucking line of the book is the scientist is just like tossing and turning in his sleep, and then he's like suddenly has this revelation. He's like, they always do things in threes, implying that there are two other things out there. And it broke my brain when I read it. It's a really good book. It's by Arthur C. Clarke, who wrote 2001.
Space Odyssey.
Well, it's been a little while. You want to wrap it up?
I think we have to.
All right. James Jordan Talk to the Internet, episode 2, season 2. Follow us on Instagram.
There'll be more aliens.
More alien dicks
in 3.
in the next one. I'm James. You are?
Who am I?
You're Dennis Quaid.
That's right.
Goodbye.